Today's Monday morning, May 22nd. We have a quorum. And will everyone please rise for the pledge of allegiance followed by the prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Commissioner Williams, will you please lead us in prayer?
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day that you have granted us. Father, be with us as we do the business of Mills County. Guide us and direct us in all our actions and be with us steadfast. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Number 2, review and act on minutes of May 8th, 2023.
Seeing no corrections or additions, I make a motion that we approve the minutes from May 8th.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the minutes. Second's been made by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Audience with individuals. Ms. Scott, no audience with individuals. Number 4, consider an act on approving accounts payable.
I guess the only question I have is, I guess Guy or Summer could answer this. Is that the last payment on the fire alarm? That 5,600?
That's the last payment for the motherboard installation. They still have to come back and some more work.
I know they've been up here quite a bit. Correct guy doing work on the system.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I have nothing else.
Okay. Do you have any other questions? Discussion?
If everybody looked there, it's also in there, each precinct's paying their part of having the pony motor put on, so that'll be the end of the expense.
Okay.
I make a motion to approve the accounts payable.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the accounts payable.
I'll second.
A second's been made by Commissioner Parton. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the accounts payable, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 5, Lineberger attorneys Kerry Pickering and area manager Katie Rhodes will present a delinquent tax collection and litigation activity report. Good morning, ladies. Come on up here to the podium, please.
I'll pass these out to you.
Okay.
It's short and sweet. We won't take up much of your time. The judge told me y'all had a lot going on today. We have not met. I'm Carrie.
This
Nice to meet you, and my assistant Katie.
Katie Rhodes. So I'll give a little prep work. Lineberger's been doing our past due collections through the appraisal district for how many years? Good many years. I don't.
Long before 2007.
Yeah, many years. And yes, you might need to pull that mic down there for you, Carrie. That mic's up there real high.
It's all.
Okay.
Turn it, yeah.
So,
Well, thank you for the.
Yes.
Judge, it's a pleasure to be here today. We haven't been in court in a while. I think the last time we were here was to present the county some tax audits and proceeds. So anyway, so this is Katie, I'm Carrie, and the purpose of us being here today is giving you guys a summary of our litigation activity that we've conducted since July 1st of 2022, and also to take a look at the delinquent tax roll since July 2022. And note here that the figures in this report cover July 1, 2022 to just through April. So we still, so this tax collection year, we still have all of April in May to work on what's left of the role, which is not a whole lot left, and we'll get to that in a moment. But just so y'all, for background purposes for everyone in the room, our law firm, as the judge said, has been hired to represent all the tax communities of Will County in collection of their delinquent property taxes. And as part of that process, the first thing we do is send out mass mailings to delinquent taxpayers out here, right? Notifying them of the taxes that may be due and the amount due, this, that, and the other. Katie will follow up in about a month from the mass mailings and go over the delinquent tax roll with the folks over the appraisal district. And they will work together to target specific accounts to perhaps follow a delinquent tax lawsuit against. And we get this question all the time, like how do you figure out who to file suit against? We really start working the target roll from $5 down. Okay, and pretty much go from there. And so if Katie sent an individualized notice of intent to sue letter, as well as trying to find phone numbers, email addresses, or whatever, we'll use all those attempts at communication to relate to the taxpayer to let them know, hey, you know, we're on the verge of filing a lawsuit. Because what happens if we file a lawsuit in district court here, now, court costs, so you can attest to this, it's gonna run the taxpayer an additional at least minimum of $500 in court costs. And if it's a situation where the property has been passed down to 4 or 5 heirs, quite often those 4 or 5 heirs own an undivided interest in the property. Nobody wants to pay the property taxes. And they fight, or maybe they don't get along at all. In that situation, the court will end up appointing and what's called an attorney ad litem, and there are different fees associated with that attorney as well. So some of these cases involve multiple heirs, the court costs will be $1,500. You know, so we really try to avoid that, you know, on behalf of the taxpayer at all costs, but if the taxpayer just fails to respond at all, or make partial payments, or get on a payment plan with the appraisal district, really filing suit is the last resort. So I'm gonna go over the numbers here in a minute, but after we file the lawsuit, I would say easily half of those paid right off the bat after the defendants have been served with citations. But there are those that just linger. Going back to the air example, sometimes people just don't want to keep the property, but they can't afford to keep the property. Or they moved and just don't have any interest in remaining heirs. Sometimes people just pass away and there are no heirs. So that property is just going to sit out there being unproductive on the tax roll until we can file a lawsuit against it, foreclose the tax liens, and then put it in a tax sale. So after the state's filed, most of those get paid, but if they don't, we will set the case for trial here in district court. We all have a great district judge, Smith. It was just wonderful, easy to work with. We really like him a lot. Once the judgment is taken, again, if the property taxes are not paid, we will set the property in a public tax sale. Our tax sale will by law, they're always held on the first Tuesday of the month, and we have them here at 10 o'clock. Yes, I don't think we go to wait between that time. People get used to that, they get very upset if you change the time. So, our tax sales have just been highly successful out here, which I know interest rates have gone up, but that has not slowed property from selling in these tax sales. And in general, the property will sell for more than the original minimum bid that we see at the sale. And when we have more than the original minimum bid, that's called excess proceeds. The excess proceeds get deposited in the registry of the court. It's on you over here. And by law, that money can stay in the registry of the court for 2 years. If after 2 years, the former owners of the property or any lien holder has not filed their own petition to disperse the access, then Katie and I will go back in, prepare a petition to disperse the excess in order for the judge to sign, and that money comes back to the tax immunities. And we've had those a lot in the past couple of years. And I would like to note that we really don't feel that the pandemic affected our collection numbers at all, but it did kind of affect our continual litigation in the pipeline, because we were pretty much prohibited from even visiting our clients and checking up on payment, et cetera, for a year and a half. You know, so we still continue to send mass mailers and whatnot, but we couldn't set cases for trial. Eventually court started being conducted via Zoom, which Judge Smith built that, I think. We love being on Zoom, but there was a good solid year there, but we were just kind of stuck. You know, our wheels were spinning, we weren't going anywhere, but those tax dollars were still coming in regardless. So we don't feel that the pandemic really affected collections much at all. It just affected how much litigation we can get into the pipeline. But I think we're back on track now. You know, the pandemic's been over for a year or so. Yeah. So anyway, let's go through this real quick. I won't keep y'all. I'm just gonna basically read this. Again, keep in mind that these numbers are from July of 2022 to April 1st of this year. So since that time frame, we filed 25 new lawsuits involving 51 properties, seeking the collection of $53,000 and change. Suit dismissal, we prepared and submitted dismissal in 10 suits involving 27 properties, collecting approximately $21,000 and some change. Judgments, we obtained 3 judgments involving 5 different properties. These judgments sought the collection of a little over $3,300. We had 1 tax bill involving 2 properties, and the sale collected $3,500 and some change. And Katie, do you want to explain to the commissioner the situation on the tax and understanding how that's kind of a lot of money sitting out there?
Yes, well, I do think they finally got it, but there was a property that that had some delinquent taxes on it, that the lady had borrowed some money to pay prior years. So she owed a tax lien lending company. So they foreclosed on her in February. And had a sale here and somebody bought it and got money that for some reason it took a while to get to the appraisal district, but it finally did. And so, you know, that's kind of another way that occasionally delinquent property taxes are collected. They filed suit for what she owed them. We intervened for the subsequent years of taxes. And so it was all collected when it was sale.
Yeah. Do you remember how much that was?
Well, I don't remember what she owed then. I
Right.
think what she owed the appraisal district was about $3,000.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's another one. I didn't add it in here because it wasn't our
Uh-huh.
sale per se. And at the time I was putting this report together, the payments were not right clear yet. Yeah. Right. Anyway, thank you. And then going down to mass mailings, we mail here in Mills County 4 times throughout the year. We send the mass mailers in July, September, November, and in February. This year. So July, September, November 2022, and then February again in 23, and it's May. So by law, we are required to send what's called the May notice, which anyone right now that owes delinquent 2022 taxes, they get a letter notifying them that on July 1, additional attorney's fees will apply. And if they see the numbers in these letters and they're like, oh my gosh, because it jumps up a lot, come July 1. So that'll be going out, and it hasn't already.
Yeah, I think it probably is.
Yeah. And Katie gets a lot of phone calls, and we both get a lot of phone calls as a result of those letters. And we consider that to be another collection effort, even though it's required by law, those letters get sent. And also I might add that, 3 or 4 years ago, the appraisal district voted to adopt tax code section 3311, which allows the attorney's fees on delinquent business personal property taxes and mobile homes to attach to the property as of April 1st, rather than us waiting until July 1. And the legislative intent behind that particular tax code, it's kind of obvious in that businesses close quickly, mobile homes are mobile, they come and go quickly. So it just allows us to get our hands on it, so to speak, a couple of months prior to the normal July 1 date. So that's another collection effort that, you know, for the tax code, we can use. All right, so skipping through, so that's the litigation report. We're having the on right now.
Well, go ahead. I know you've, Ms. Pickering, you said that Mills County, we have a very high collection as far as a percentage of not being past due. what, 98% or something to that effect?
It's always between 97 and 99%.
Okay.
And when you consider that, I mean, that doesn't leave a whole lot of delinquent taxes out there to collect. And I'm gonna pat Katie on the back here, because she is a workhorse. I would gladly say that she is the best area manager out of our Austin office. Hands down.
Good job.
And she has worked out, how many years she working on that?
Since 2012.
Okay,
Great.
so 2012. So she has just diligently worked this role down to practically nothing. And that's what it takes to have a tax roll with practically nothing, is that you work it diligently year after year after year. People know you're serious about what, people know we are serious about collecting their taxes, and they don't just throw these notices in the mail. Some do, but you know. Yeah. Okay, so what I think is important, especially at this time of the year, is to see exactly where we are with the delinquent tax roll. So as of April the 1st, the total due was 69,000 and some change. And this chart is broken down as to the amounts owed on real property, manufactured homes, and personal property. And then we'll apply to chart kind of showing you how it looks in reality, I guess. But most of the delinquency being on real property accounts. So that's kind of a fun little graph. But the important part, if you go to the last page of the report, even though 69,000 sounds like a lot of money that's outstanding in delinquent right now, you really kind of have to look inside the numbers. And if you'll see below, you don't have any bankruptcies right now, which is really good. Yeah. However, there is almost $43,000 in deferrals. And by law, we are prohibited from seeking collection of accounts that are in deferral. For y'all who don't know, there are different levels of deferral. Some involve disability. The most common one is an over 65 deferral. If you have a homestead and you have a homestead exemption on that property and you're 65 or older, then you can apply for an over 65 deferral, which means that you don't have to pay those taxes as long as you're living in that house. And tax liability falls to your repairs. So it's a good way to get back to your kid. But that's what most of our deferrals are, the over 65 deferrals. So we keep an eye on that. We're checking the paper all the time, looking for obituaries, because a lot of time if the appraisal district here is really on the ball and identifying it. But sometimes folks have passed away and we don't know about it. There's not an obituary in the newspaper. Nobody's been informed of the appraisal district. So that deferral is still hanging on out there. But once we confirm that we have no tax fees, then that deferral can come off and we can see collection at that point in time. Okay, abstracts of judgment. These are typically accounts where we have filed a lawsuit against the business. The business closes, they're no longer around. The people that own the business aren't around. And we go ahead and take the judgment, and then we file what's called an abstract of judgment. We file those in the county clerk's records. It's just the last chance at possible collection, because if those folks own real property and they try to sell that real property, eventually a title company will find that abstract of judgment, and the title company will issue clear title until the abstract of judgment regarding the underlying business personal property is paid. You'd be surprised how many of those will pay after 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Yeah. All right, and then uncollectible, this is kind of like the abstracts. It's businesses that are no longer in business. It's old mobile homes that have since been relocated out of the county or not there anymore for some reason. And then in active suits right now, we have about $15,000 tied up in current active suits. And then we have about 2,700 and some change in accounts that have been targeted for collection, where anything is either sent out individual notice of intent to sue or is planning to do that very soon. So when you subtract out all of those items, the remaining collectible balance is 1,500 and some change, which is fantastic. Yeah, it is. And anytime y'all want to take a look at the delinquent tax roll, we have it. You might just be curious to see. You might know some people on it. Probably not. But, you might. And then if you go to the last page, that's again the AMP pie chart, breaking down the dollars that are remaining on the delinquent tax. That was able to.
Okay. Good job.
Okay.
Gentlemen, any questions for Katie,
Yeah, I have-
Carrie?
Has there been any, or do y'all know, is there anything, movement on the lawsuit from Encore?
The last Monica, she didn't know. She had not heard anything, any sort of an update, so
Don't know.
I
So,
don't, it's in the appeals court, the last I heard.
right, it's in the, right. What if any concerns do y'all have on, I know we're having to train a new tax collector, or do y'all have any concerns on this issue that the entities need to be concerned about?
The chief appraiser?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I think though, Katie and I work in a lot of rural, small counties, and it's gonna be hard to hire somebody. I mean, typically that position doesn't. Pay well, so to speak. And it's such a demanding position, it's really hard to get and a very experienced, qualified chief appraiser because because of the money situation. I mean, we think that they're in pretty good hands right now with, Richard Petrie and his group. He's got a great reputation amongst the industry. And you know, Monica does a great job holding down the fort. Carolyn does a great job as their office manager, and Lacey Davis over there. She's already started to take all the classes to possibly be interested in that position someday. She's sharp as a tack. So I really don't have any concerns. It just may take a while. We had the same situation in San Saba a couple of years ago. During the pandemic, their chief appraiser was trying to retire and they just couldn't. They had job postings listed for months until ironically the perfect candidate walked in the door. So sometimes it's just luck. Yeah, no, I don't have no concerns.
Okay, any other questions? Well, ladies, a great report. Thanks a lot. And we appreciate all the work you do for Mills County.
Thank you, Sonia, for her office is fantastic.
Well, we like seeing you all the time. Also, yeah.
Because those numbers aren't in here. Yeah, okay, real quick, I'm turning into this time.
Yeah.
So Monica at the appraisal district got word that a business that sold Western wear was going out of business. So we swooped down within a couple of days and filed a tax warrant that was, thank you, Sheriff Department.
Yeah.
That we served on the business on a Friday and, per the tax code, the owners of the business had 10 days to pay what was owed to the appraisal district. And after that 10 days, we could set the property in the inventory of the business, Western wear boots, et cetera, some jewelry, and a sale. So we did just 10 days past, no payment. So we set the day of sale and, I can't remember when, it was just a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, and, the amount due was about $6,700, which is a fair chunk of change out here. And so we sought to sell the entire inventory, not sell just a pair of boots, piecemeal. And the owner of the actual business, Joe Brooks.
Owner of the building.
They own the building. Yeah, it was located out,
So the John Deere place.
yeah, okay. So, it was a crazy situation. He had told us ahead of time he would buy all the inventory in the day before. He called everybody and said, well, I decided not to bid. And they were just like, oh my God. Yeah, yeah. But I had to sale anyway. Thank you, Judge. And she was
Yeah.
very, very helpful because in the meantime, if we had to cancel that sale or because no one came to bid, then Commissioner Wright was going to be a big help in allowing us to move that inventory into some of this extra storage. So thank you, Judge, for y'all coordinating that. It was a lot of work, much ado about nothing because Mr. Brooks did in the purchasing the inventory and there was some competitive bidding there.
Competitive bidding, that's right.
So Mr. Brooks ended up purchasing the property with $7,100, I believe.
Nearly 8,000. I think it's 8,000.
So there were excess.
Yeah.
proceeds.
Yeah.
before, I might mention was that, you know, as of January 1st, 2023, the business was still in business, so they would have a 2023 bill coming out in the fall. Well, Monica estimated what that would be, and we included that. And so we were able to collect a bill that
Good.
technically hasn't even come out yet, but you know, they were about to be gone.
Sure.
So.
Well, good job.
That's a nice thing enough.
Yes.
Good job. Okay, ladies, thank you for coming. Appreciate the report. All right. Safe travels. Moving on, number 6, consider an act to claim the government exemption for EMS services, TLGC 262.024 with Sheriff Hammonds. Sheriff Hammonds, you want to come up? Discuss this? Good morning, Sheriff Hammonds.
Morning. Yeah, this will be pretty brief, because I think we've had a pretty lengthy discussion over the past, when we were trying to draw up a RFP for FEMA service during this budget process. I know Mr. Kelly referenced the part of the government code. I don't know if you were able to retrieve that or not.
Yes, sir. I've read it.
Where there is an exemption where you don't have to go through the RFP process and work the claim. And you don't have all the wording and requests and all of that stuff. And it makes it work a lot easier to interview these prospective clients or businesses. And more of a formal interview versus the RFP. And I think it leaves room for more negotiations than we've had in the past.
Okay. Questions?
I don't have any questions, but that's already been voted on. We voted on April 13th.
Not the exemption.
The exemption and the RFP. It was voted.
Well, to refresh everybody's who's in question, the June 2nd, we're automatically renewing with Hamilton EMS. And
I think the answer to Mr. Parker's question, but I think the only thing voted on was the RFP.
Yes.
Nobody ever mentioned I make a motion to accept the exemption.
We
To go
considered,
back to the minutes.
we considered the exemption. County Attorney Hale noted a couple options on the bidding process and explained on how it was or if to take bids. Discussion continued. Motion was made by Judge Johnson to accept the RFP with corrections and seconded by Mike Wright. Motion failed 2-3.
That's RFP, that's not the exemption.
With a couple options, which was the exemptions.
well, Sheriff Hammonds, I'm looking at, we're gonna renew with Hamilton EMS June the 2nd. I know you've had some issues with, I've done extensive research. I've contacted, there's 5 counties around us, including Mills, 4 counties, Hamilton, Llano, San Saba, and Lampasas counties. I've consulted with all the judges in those counties. They got nothing but high marks for Hamilton EMS. So
Sounds good.
I know you've had some issues. So anyway, all right, okay. Moving on to number 7.
So this is no action.
No action. Do I hear a motion? I'm ask for that. Do I hear a motion to consider an act to claim the government exemption for EMS services from anybody? Hearing none, we'll move on. Number 7, consider an act on security, IT electrical issues at LAC. This is Law Enforcement Center. I'm gonna take a vote that we go into executive session at the Mills County Law Enforcement Center for the purpose of delivering this business authorized in Texas Government Code Section 651.071. So I'll make a motion on that. Do I hear a second?
Before you go, you gotta just say who's gonna be allowed in that meeting.
Okay,
If you're bringing any guests, you gotta,
well, I will announce who all's gonna be at the meeting. It's gonna be the 4 commissioners, myself, Guy Burns, Goldsmith Solutions be Sound Goldsmith and David. Southwest Architecture be Jeff Heffelfinger. Dennard Electric out Brownwood be Steve Christopher. S3 Substantial Security Solutions would be Brian Holden. And I mentioned Guy Burns, didn't I? And the law enforcement would be Sheriff Clint Hammonds. And Sheriff Hammonds, anybody else on your end?
No.
Okay. Those, Commissioner Williams, those should be the ones in the executive session.
Just making sure, I'm just going by the statute.
Okay.
Make sure we're covered there.
Okay, we'll make sure we're covered. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go, if it's approved, go into executive session, law enforcement center. I'm guessing we'll be gone for an hour, hour and a half. Then we'll come back and reconvene in here once our executive session is over with. So I'll make a motion to go in executive session. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second's been made by Commissioner Ryan. All those in favor of going to executive session, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, we will now move to executive session, the law enforcement center, and for those in the public here, again, it may be an hour, hour and a half before we get back and we'll reconvene. So we're now in the executive session. Commissioner Williams, do I need to, I'll just leave this running.
Jackie, do we need to pause anything?
No, please leave everything running.
Okay.
He's got a slide up that says the current executive session. So if anybody wants-
If there's any, any action. That's what I just told them, like, I'm impressed with it. Yes. There we go. They said 15 minutes. So we're trying to do Make it?
Yeah. I was gonna have to water the cactus out of the sheriff department.
The weeds, you mean?
No, it's a southwest deal. I think we left all this stuff off.
Peter did not. Hey, IT people, my computer stuff, no.
Oh, sorry. Is it plugged in? That's what they ask you when you call in.
You know, when I was learning about computers, I was working in a store and they had to show me how to turn the thing on. And either way, I was trying to do logs and add some stuff to inventory. And this stupid computer just would not do what I wanted to do. And I just kind of redneck fixed it. I read back and slapped the tar out of it. Lay by Dory Blesh got so furious at me. And then all of a sudden the computer started going delete, delete, delete. I said, it worked.
My wife just tells me to stay out of there and leave it alone.
Well, you know, my wife told me to leave her computer alone because I turned it on one day and the whole screen went to get it. And she got home, she said, what'd you do? I hit that power button.
Okay. Jackie, can you hear me? Jackie, testing 1, 2, 3. Are we on?
Yes, sir, I can.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Are we recording already again?
I mean, we're live.
We're
I don't know if you need to put re-record on.
I need to hit record. Jason, you want to come over here? Or Dale, you want to show me
No,
how?
I think I'll find.
I don't know how to get this other screen to record.
You don't have a mouse.
No,
I think
it's
it'd
right
be
there.
over with.
Jackie, I'm trying to figure out how to record now. Jason's over here.
Should be down there. Awesome.
Do you need me to come up?
IT's gonna show you on big screen.
Is it right there with? chat?
No, so it's on a different,
You need to escape. And it says live right now, YouTube.
it's.
I'll be
live.
right up there. Give me 1 second.
He found it, I think. Okay,
Okay, it says it's recording.
recording now and blow that side up. Okay, we're recording now. Okay,
I'm gonna have to help you there.
is everybody, we got everybody back in session? Everybody here? Okay,
Hold the time, Dave.
the time is 11:20, May 22nd. We've returned back from executive session, which was a statute, Texas Government Code 651.071. We were at the Mills County Law Enforcement Center Conference Room and also the, what's the other room called? The computer battery backup room for all the electronics. So we've now reconvened. We are in the executive session discussing security, IT, electrical issues. And gentlemen, any discussion on this?
What I got out of the whole meeting is kind of what I think Mike was alluding to at the very first, and then Judge, you said it last week. It sounded like it was a communication error on several parts. Also got out of it that it's a maintenance issue that was not, maybe not followed all the procedures that it should have been.
Yes.
Being from not, the boxes not labeled correctly, to the panel being broke out, I mean, just the communications from the individual church department, communications from Goldsmith, the communications from our maintenance supervisor. Yes, maybe we should have done some things differently. I think we should have probably done a lot of things differently, but that's what I took out of the meeting, is that there was a lack of communication. And it seems like it, you know, from what we got presented, that the situation has been resolved. Is that what I got?
Yes, I'd agree with that. And I think moving forward, everything looks good. I don't think we'll have any more issues
I
regarding.
don't think we need to leave those old batteries sitting around
Yes,
for 20 years to make something inside of them. So
next
I
Commissioner's Court.
think we need to be discussing of how to delete that system, and if but it did not come out to solve the situation that Goldsmith is allowed back in the building. And
Yes,
so that is gonna be a huge situation to go ahead on the RFP situation that we're working on right now.
sure.
I did not get that vibe
And
or answer.
that
So
really
that's
was,
my intake there.
yes.
Is Goldsmith allowed in the building?
As of-
Well, that was not on executive session. I'll remind everybody, we did not discuss that because we were in executive session just for the security IT electrical issues at LAC. So,
that was disclosed of earlier last week in through emails and stuff.
All right, so nothing is reported on that.
Yes.
nothing was reported. We were just in there for security IT, electrical battery issues. Commissioners, any other questions or comments?
I have several. I mean, the system has been replaced. This all goes with it. I printed off some forms last week. Each one of you got them. Sheriff job description, commissioners job descriptions. It definitely says that the commissioners provide and maintains all county buildings and facilities.
Yes.
Okay, it says the sheriff is to manage and operate the county jail. So we kind of call the shots as to who can and who cannot go in a county building. That's my take. The only other thing with the battery backup deal out there, I don't know if it'd be cost prohibitive, since I think we probably need to buy the new battery backup system.
Yes.
But I think the old one should be dissected and looked at. See if it was faulty,
If they can, I don't know anything about it. So, yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it sounds like to me the system was bad somehow.
They're probably-
But so the question is do we have Clint's, what do you take it out, commissary fund pay for that, or do we as a county take that out of?
I think that's a big issue.
I think it's a big
That's
issue.
the whole issue here, is that what it costs for him to have to replace it. Is it his responsibility or is it our responsibility?
Question for Summer, do we have a fund that we would replace?
This technology fund, and there's law enforcement technology fund. I couldn't tell you right now the number, but it's not anything. I don't know where he's started to decide on commissary fund. It's not something that's ever been explained.
Well, that was brought up at one time. I was going to ask you that question. I didn't understand that
That's
either.
not under my control, but it's special use fund that is kept out of the jail and that.
Okay.
So I don't know why or when those funds.
Okay.
Is someone on the court going to follow up with this to kind of be the referee?
Well, how are we, I mean, unless the
Sure.
judge does it, do you want to, Mike? Because, I mean, I don't,
I think it's the judge.
Well, I will take
But
responsibility.
I'll be glad to start getting in more involved with, since I wasn't involved with any of it.
well, none of us were
I
involved.
understand that, but just like the point been brought up 2 years ago that we listened to the court reported to us, and we did nothing about it. That's 2 years ago.
Again, this is what Dale just read is the sheriff manages and operates the jail, and there was no maintenance on that for 6 years. And so. How can you put it off on one person? I don't. And that's what I agree with you, Mike, 100%, but I think we ought to pay for it. It was down.
Sure.
And so that's just my,
And you mentioned earlier my take on the IT. We have Goldsmith with us. They've done a great job, in my opinion, on everything, and I will continue to support Goldsmith in the courthouse and all other county businesses or buildings.
Summer, can we make this an emergency budget amendment since this has to be up and going? And take it, and I mean, it changed, I mean, we'd have to take it out of the general fund type thing.
Or you didn't take it out of. I mean, this would be something I guess we can't act once a day anyways, not on the agenda.
Yeah.
Well, we have considered acting,
We should have time to study it.
Okay.
In the meantime, get it fixed.
I think that's what we need to do. I think that's my opinion. I don't know what the report thinks, but.
So we'll see. Sheriff Hammond's had communicated to me what the future is, of course, so. But I'm again supporting Goldsmith for our IT work throughout the whole Mills County courthouse, sheriff's department, everywhere. So,
Another thing with this whole issue too is it was brought up at the last court meeting and it was the replacing it or looking at it, they wanted, Sheriff Hammond wanted to look at it. With him and Guy, I think. We tabled the whole day.
Yes.
Probably was an input that.
Yeah, it was in our minutes today.
It was tabled to give them a chance to look at it. Well, now it has been replaced or resolved. Even though it was a tabled action.
It's already fixed.
It's fixed.
Yeah.
We didn't do it.
We didn't do it.
Clint said he was gonna take some commissary of them. So.
Correct.
and I'll be glad to communicate with them or Summer, so figure out
Okay.
who's gonna be responsible for this, okay? Any other questions, discussion on this?
So I make a motion that we reevaluate the expense item for the IT issues at the LLC at later court function.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to at a later date, look into the security IT electrical issues at the LEC. Payment,
Add that.
yeah, payment for the backup battery system.
Dale second.
Commissioner Parton, second, any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion that was made, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Moving along to number 8.
I
Yes, sir.
don't mean to be rude, Judge. but
Yes,
Can we jump to 14?
sure.
This couple that's been here.
Oh, they're here for County Road
3
231.
hours.
Well, you know, I didn't know that. I wish, thank you, Commissioner Williams, for letting me know.
Roberts once said they were here representing that county road, and I think we owe it to them.
Well, I agree 100%, and my apologies. We're gonna jump to number 14, discuss and discussion on creating County Road 224 from private road 224. This is Commissioner's Head's precinct. So Commissioner Head, go ahead.
It's 1.1 mile road. We had a petition, went around and signed, and turned into me. Basically, the county used to kind of blade it every so often, but, last several years, the county has, quit doing that, and, it's a really, well, not really a road there. I mean, it's kind of a lot of potholes, and it's tore up pretty good, and it's there's several people live down that road. So if we actually had an emergency, it'd probably be very difficult for emergency vehicles to respond there.
I went out last Thursday or Friday. I haven't been out that way in a good while, and I was guessing there's 10 families out there, but I think the report had 14 families who've been paying property taxes for many, many years. And the road is in bad shape in numerous spots. And I think it's over a mile long. What was it? 1.1 mile. So I know Commissioner Head's gone through the steps. There's a petition that's already been signed. There's steps to go through. There's postings in the courthouse. I don't know about the paper or whatnot, but I'm sure you're looking into that with our county attorney, but I'm all for approving it to go to county road. Commissioner Head?
The only biggest problem right now is if this is is this what they're considering an application? Section 251.052 of the public application for a new road says the commissioner's court may grant and order an application to be made under this section unless the applicant gives notice of their intent to apply by posting at the courthouse doors and in 2 other places in the vicinity of the route, a written notice of their intent for at least 20 days before the application is made. So,
And the date showing May the 3rd.
but there was no posting.
Oh, there's no posting?
So
Okay.
I mean, basically, I mean, I don't necessarily say we don't want to do this. I'm just saying that to follow the
Yeah.
guidelines, they've got to post it before the application is made.
See, and when I
I
talked,
don't know what Gerald would say. He's not here,
I
so.
don't know, I ain't able to talk to her, but I called TAC and I told them about it and they said, okay. I said, so what's this need to be taken on this deal? He said, well, turn it in. I'm like, "Oh, okay." He said, it was turned to you. He said, you got to bring it to court and it's gonna be,
Agreed. And I think that's what you've done. You've brought it to court.
and I mean, that's what TAC told me to do. I mean, and of course I talked to Sonia and read through this 251 and stuff like that for it is, we'll probably do a class 3 road on it and stuff like that. And also,
Well, I'm all for, doing it, just so we got to go by the book and do what's proper.
I think that it says posting at the courthouse.
Yeah, posted in 2 places. You got
Yeah.
posted out on the road itself, at
Right.
the start of the road, at the end of the road, you got to post it out here.
And that what you did, right?
Yes.
On your last two.
Once he does that, and wait 20 days, then I'm gonna listen to what he wants to do in the precinct.
Yes, yes, yes. I want to make sure Robert doesn't get thrown under the bus.
Well,
The first thing he has to do is verify his signature. Have you done that?
well, I was told to bring it in, Sonia,
You
so
have to verify. it.
I have to verify.
Well, the court does, I mean, you have to go to.
So Mike, what you're saying is you take this petition, verify it, and then you do the posting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the petition, we don't have to redo.
Sure.
Okay,
Commissioner Wright has had several roads experience on this issue, correct, Commissioner Wright? Going from private to county road, so.
so then all we need to do is get it in writing and posted, Robert. You need to get it in writing and posted and then,
Bring it back to the court.
and bring it back to the court.
Correct.
Okay,
For at least 20 days.
Have it on the court to consider an act at that point.
okay.
Okay, and is the petition
Yes, this is good.
good enough for the writing of it? Just make some copies.
They can verify the names on it, but they're all aware of who they are, and they live in the county residents
Okay,
of the county residents.
and then post that, and then post that,
Post you that and post,
and that,
yes.
okay.
Well, yeah.
Okay.
After it's all that.
Okay,
He wants it out on the glass, that goes.
Yes, it has to go. In fact, it should go into a glass board, they post it.
Okay,
okay, any other discussion, questions? So,
Does that answer y'all's questions? Y'all have any? Okay, I'm gonna ask, even though you didn't sign up to talk, but y'all been here a long time.
yeah, well, thank you for coming. And we'll take this up again, okay? So that's only discussion. That was 14. We're going to jump back up to number 8, consider an act on accepting opioid resolution funds. We'd received a check on the opioid funds that's going out all the counties. And the check summary, if I remember correctly, was $6,400 or whatnot that we need to, it's been there, yeah, good whip. Yeah, but around $6,500. So, and if you remember, gentlemen, we talked about we signed the resolution forms about 2 previous commissioner court meetings, but we need to just approve accepting the funds. And I'll make a motion that we approve the funds for the opioid resolution.
So where's it gonna go? Is that?
Well, that's gonna be our next discussion. It's gonna go to number 9. We're
Oh,
proposing.
okay.
Yeah.
Just, I forgot.
Yeah, we're gonna accept this first and tell where it's gonna go. So I made a motion to accept the opioid resolution funds.
How much money is it? That needs to be in 6,500. Is that for you?
Yes, sir, that's my motion, yes. And that's give or take, not exactly a few dollars here and there. So the motion's been made by me to accept the opioid resolution funds and second by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Now, the next number 9 is considering an act to amend indigent healthcare fund by adding a new revenue line for opioid settlement by county treasurer. I've done a lot of research with all the different county judges who've gotten this money, and it varies from one end to the other. But consulted with Summer, County Treasurer Summer, she suggested this to be put in the indigent healthcare fund. Also, there are several other counties doing the same thing, putting an indigent healthcare fund. So Summer,
Make a motion that we amend the indigent healthcare fund by adding the new revenue of opioid settlement.
okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams. Second's been made by Commissioner Head. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor of the motion about a new revenue line item for opioid settlement, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 10, consider an act on budget amendment to increase the general liability and property insurance by $6,400. Summer,
I think at the beginning of the year, we just get a rough estimate of our cost, and so when we got the final bill, once you add in, that's what we there. It was more than what we.
So, and also, if y'all watched the seminar last week that you sent us or somebody sent us,
Insurance.
but overall, it was everything. I mean, they talked about lots of things. They talked about, and everything is going up. And so just to let y'all know,
Yes.
health insurance and this insurance are both going up. So
yes, well, definitely.
Yeah, I figured that out a couple months ago with my auto insurance.
Yeah. Okay. So any questions, discussion? I'll make a motion. We approve the budget amendment to increase the general liability and property insurance by $6,400. Second's been made by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion? All those approving the motion say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 11, consider an act to update bank signature cards to reflect change in treasurer's office.
I mean, be able to put them in for you.
Okay.
I make a motion we do that.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Head, change the signature card in the treasurer's office. Second's been made by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. 12, consider an act on allowing veteran service officer to open bank account under county tax ID number. This is in reference to our veteran service officer, Craig Wright.
So this is just basically like the Child Welfare Board has a checking account and the museum has a checking account. This is opening one up for the Veteran Services Center. He still has to give reconciliations and all that stuff to Summer, and it runs through her office.
And the
Okay.
big thing that's going into this account anyways is your donations. And so what he had been doing was donating to the Legion Hall, but then paying money out of his own pocket to help veterans. So we wanted to set this up so he could use these funds to help those people out.
And just a side note on Craig, he failed. I don't know, Mike, you might know more. He lives out there by you. He fell or something and broke his arm and he's all stoked up.
They didn't break it. He fell off his porch, stepped off the porch on his house next to the county road, not his residence.
Just that was
It's
just.
dislocated his elbow.
Yeah, he's bruised up pretty good.
But he's in, he's doing fine.
And one of the comment, Craig, Mr. Wright was in my office last week. I asked him how many veterans are in Mills County, which I didn't have a clue. He stayed around 850 veterans are in Mills County. So he stays very busy doing what he does. Okay. So consider an act on allowing veteran service officer open an account
I make a motion that we allow the veteran service officer to open a bank account under the county's tax ID number.
Okay, motion's been made by Commissioner Williams. I'll second that motion. So we got a motion second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of allowing the veteran service officer to open bank account under county tax ID number, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 13, consider an act on engagement letter from Eckert and Company for the Mills County audit. My understanding Eckert and Company's been doing this for 15 plus years or so, our audit. I think they did a great job. And every year we have to do this engagement letter. We're basically what some are approving the audit.
That they are going to be the company doing the audit
And,
contract.
okay.
That's where we're going.
And again, from my short term in office, seemed like they did a good job on everything. Summary and comments on them.
The only thing is it'll come back a little bit later on budget and where that money and how much that'll be.
Yeah.
It doesn't 100% say that in here, but
Well, it's going to be a little bit more, just like everything else is going to be, and then I'm also watching their goal for $700,000 in our ARPA funds, because that triggers a single audit. And that would be more expensive, that's an additional $3,000 to do that. So
Okay.
I don't think that's going to happen, I think the plan. For that last 3 months.
Okay. Okay. So any more discussion on that, gentlemen? Consider an act, engagement letter. I'll make a motion that we approve from Eckert and Company for the Mills County audit engagement letter. A motion's been made by me. A second's been made by Commissioner Parton. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the engagement letter with Eckert and Company, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Number 14, we've already done. So number 15, consider an act on hard drive destruction approval. Mr. Sam Goldsmith, do we need to bring you up here on that?
The discussion was this was paid part. This was discussed the last time the court tabled it. Basically, I think where your word is to find out if your shredding company can do this for you. Jackie did check into it and it's much cheaper with them, but they just simply physically destroy the drive. So you'd have to have an employee go out there with it and have it destroyed. It's different than our process where we give you a certification. What I would tell you is they came back at $10 per drive. And we were at a $350 minimum to get us out there to do it. If you want to consider using us for that, I'd be willing to drop it to $20 a drive in the minimum. But again, we wipe the data off the drive, we physically destroy the drive, we document that it was destroyed, and we provide you all the certified proof of destruction. It's up to you. We're trying to streamline this process so that you don't have to do it different in every single county you go to. And so that our people, it's very clear what the process is. But if that would save us some money, you'd be willing to consider it at $20 per drive.
so let me make sure they only kind of like what the sheriff was telling us, they put a bullet in it and that's it.
They put it in a machine that they drive up outside, but you would need to have your employee go unlock them, take them out there and either take pictures of them or document it somehow. And then stand there and watch it be destroyed. And so there's some, work on y'all side to do that. The concern always is you take a box of them out there and you don't know how many there are. And right before they run through the shredder, you say, oh, it's counting. And there's 12. Well, there were 14 when they got put in the storage unit. So we're the concern with all this is just data leak. So their process is just kind of rudimentary where it's just, you hand it to us and we run it through a machine and it breaks it.
How many hard drives are we talking about again?
I don't have.
Well, roughly, it'd be exact.
There were, I think, less than 10. There were
It's on the second page, on your second page that he gave us, it's 8 hard drives and 2 slim hard drives.
Yeah,
a total of 10.
so total 10.
So basically, if you would, I'm willing to reduce the cost, and I'll be very clear with you. Our goal has always been to reduce the cost of this, but this machine that we had to buy to do that was $13,000. And so, we're trying to pay for that machine. And so that, that's why we're getting closer in the process. So I'm willing to eat a little bit if that would help y'all. But if there's 10 drives, it'd be 10 times 20, so it'd be $200.
Okay, so that's what your cost would be then, too. Okay.
And in the future, the only reason this has to come before, it doesn't technically have to, but because those drives contain data that were
Sure.
government records, our policy is we want to send it to court, so we have someone's blessing before those drives. Is destroyed.
Well, I'll put this up discussion. I'm all for Goldsmith doing this. We know them and like what they do. Commissioners, comments, question? I don't know. I mean, we're not talking much money either way.
All about slaying dollars, man.
Yeah. Yeah, I just soon have Goldsmith do this is my opinion, but we're open for discussion. Well, I'll make a motion
Go for it.
that we let Goldsmith do the hard drive destruction. So there's my motion.
I said,
Got a motion by me on the hard drive destruction. Approval for Goldsmith. A second's been made by Commissioner Williams. Any other questions or discussion?
for the price of $200.
$20 a drive, you have 10 drives, and we'll stick with that $20 a drive moving forward. That way, anytime this comes back to the court, they'll just know it's gonna, we're not gonna change our price.
Okay.
Back up. It's just a formality to get you to agreement.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
I second it, Jeff.
I made the motion, second by Commissioner Williams. So I ask any other discussion, Commissioner Wright, any other questions?
That's it.
Okay. All those in favor of approving Goldsmith for their hard drive destruction, say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
And some probably often get that at the office, but it's like standard form and trade schedule, so if you never get invoice it from.
Sam, thank you, bud.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate everything y'all done.
Yeah, thank you.
16, consider an act on courthouse floodlight proposal. Mr. Guy Burns. Yeah, I know you've been waiting for this. Come on up.
Gamp on up.
Yeah, and Guy, I think everybody knows Guy pulled his back out this morning, so there. Go ahead, Guy.
So, we were talking about floodlights and, Mike mentioned, so I went to LA Electric and I can get 8 floodlights for $1,840 will be the cost, and, there should be a picture with that, what they look like. It's gonna take about, if I install them, we're looking at approximately an hour for each one. I might get faster as I go, probably, but
If your back's not pulled out.
well, that's not, yeah. They're the same quality, everything as if, Weldon Wilson, whatever they were going to buy, they're commercial / industrial quality. And, like I said, Weldon Wilson wanted $4,125 to install.
His,
Price would be $1,840 plus
like his.
plus $8 in my time, but.
Well, one time he thought it was gonna be 2 days, so maybe 8
Well,
hours.
this will be 2 days, I can't spend the entire
Sure.
day putting floodlights.
Okay.
I'll probably split it up into 2, maybe even 3 days.
Okay. And to refresh the court's memory, so these are LED lights. No, yeah, we did have halogen lights and these are LED, correct? We're
Yeah,
proposing.
these are mercury vapor, they're high pressure sodium, and we'll be switching over to LED, which will be.
More energy efficient.
What about bulb replacements? Are they available or? Have to replace the whole thing if one of them goes out?
That's a good question.
What's the maintenance on this?
That's a good question. I will follow up on that. I'm not. looking-
I don't have a problem changing them. I think it
Yeah.
needs to be done 10 years ago, probably.
From my experience, they generally come with like 50,000 hours, which.
Yeah, but that doesn't count the high school kid that skateboarding on the sidewalk that runs into one, so.
Yeah, as I understand, these are solid units. It's just, you don't, there are no light bulbs, it's just a panel.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're
Little microchip, yeah, whatever you call it.
correct. And you may be able to change that out, the inside, change the whole thing out. I can follow up on that.
I make
Okay,
a motion to approve the LED floodlight proposal for the courthouse of $1,840.
with Guy Burns installing them, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Motion's been made by Commissioner Williams.
And I'll say,
A second's been made by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion? Where do you propose we pay it from?
Under the courthouse maintenance.
Courthouse.
I mean,
I have money in my maintenance fund.
Yes.
I can pay for that.
Okay, is that good?
but there's also, but didn't we have a line item?
Also, nothing, not too many, if
Don't we have a line item that's for
It's building improvements.
building
That-
improvement?
That money was initially budgeted to finish any work that we have left over at the EMS building. So I don't want to,
Jump and steal everything right now.
right, I don't think that will happen. So I would like to see that one completed before we touch this line for stuff over here.
So if he runs, I know that's not what the auditor stated, but if he runs short toward the end of the year, and there's money left in this account, can we move it to his maintenance account?
Your answer to that question is, you know, he asked us to in before we spend, but
Right.
it's already happening all over the place, but it's.
Yeah.
People are over, it's how I put it in my computer that makes it look like you're in before you spend. It's how I process it there versus how.
Take it out of the maintenance, this maintenance fee that comes with the door. We'll put it there,
Yeah.
that's all we can do.
Okay,
yeah, we're,
okay. Okay. Other discussion? Did we get a second on that? Motion's been made.
Yes.
Yes, I second.
And it's a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of approving the courthouse floodlight proposal, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Guy, let's see, we're now to number 17, consider an act on courthouse window blind proposal.
we learned on one.
Better than last time you were up here.
We'll see how it goes, Guy.
Okay, so after the judge recommended we do some more research after we brought this up. So the option, rather than the pull down shades, which the cost was $19,475.07 for 171 windows. The other option would be the wood blinds, these are the natural wood blinds. The cost on this would be $23,384.59. Right now, with blinds.com, they're having a sale, which is good through the 2nd of June, I believe. It's a 30% discount. And if you look in there, you see it's a savings of about $10,000.
So that's 30% off the 23,000?
No,
that's it. That's it. Okay. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah, okay.
checked to find out the price on the fake wood blinds to see if they were cheaper.
Yeah.
And they're actually more expensive right now because the wood blinds are on sale. With the wood blinds, there are some advantages because wood's gonna last longer and they're lighter. So it's gonna be less weight on it. Is on the other side, the shades or installed material completely different from this material. This is disintegrates. This other kind will hold up better. As far as aesthetic value, I personally like the wood blinds. They'll look really good. And they're functional because they're louvered. You can open them louvered or you can pull them all the way up. As far as someone mentioned cleaning, I can't clean these at all because if you touch them, they disintegrate. Stuff goes everywhere. So,
And I have been to one other courthouse in Sabbath's courthouse about 2 weeks ago, and they do have I don't know if they're wood or the fake wood blinds. Everybody seemed well pleased with them over there. I think they look good.
So this is just the purchase of them, it's not the install or labor.
that would be the installment. Correct.
And 171 blinds will take you a year, right?
Yeah.
I know at my house, if my wife wants to blind up, it takes a long time. I only put enough one. Robert, how many you put?
About brackets and all that.
What are you saying, the wood?
That comes with-
Yes, sir.
Brackets and everything come with it.
Brackets come with it. It would be a process. I would do one room at a time until I get it done. And I can go through on some cost savings, like these blinds right behind you. These are blackout blinds. We replaced the these lines over here we posed over 2 or 3 years ago. So that we could, you could see.
So it's different material here, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, well, those are blackout lines, they're specifically for this, so I can actually take off 5 windows. That you wouldn't put the wooden lines on these, because
Okay.
there's no room, you just can't hang them on there on top.
You don't want consistency,
Mhm.
the blackout lines up, because whenever the pandemic hit, when we were doing everything by Zoom. You were backlit, and so you couldn't be seen on a camera. And if you want everything to match.
Yeah, that's, I was saying that, when you look outside, you got 4 windows that are white and everything else is got wood.
Want those, you're just gonna close the windows as much as you can,
Okay.
I would think, I still think you want them all around.
I mean, me personally, yeah, I would, we're talking about cost savings, it's just an option.
So go back to our original question. Where's this gonna come from?
So right now, some. Say, there's-
Summer's the
I
count.
just want to clarify this, that building improvement fund that's set aside for the EMS. Okay, so right now, there's gonna be 60,000 and some change coming out of that. Because the building, the windows paint, and everything is gonna start next week. It's my understanding that we want to keep a certain amount back in case there are any issues with EMS. We don't want to come up short on money in that. But still, that's going to leave us $60,000 $50,000.
If you take this out of there, you're less than 40.
Correct.
Makes me a little nervous.
40 don't go very far.
That's kind of a lot of surprise talk happening, so. No nervous, but if that's what we want to do. We'll do it. We'll get it done.
And I don't have an opinion on that as far as the financial end. I've spoken with Terrell Harris on the EMS station, and he doesn't believe there are going to be overruns in the cost, but
Some people will have a basic speed.
right.
I think it's one that's on us to finish the last bit of the project. That's where it gets expensive.
Oh, we talked about some signage or some kind that that's gonna be in there.
But you're still into
It's in June the 22nd. June the 22nd is what this paper says,
it.
for a month. 30 days.
What happens
Well,
to the money after the fact, after the building, we do have money left over, where does that money go?
We can transfer this, we can do line transfers, or if we just leave it there and we'll just roll that up into the general fund. It's built into the general fund. But I think every year, it's smart, especially for God and trying to maintain the historical value of this building to continue to add funds to that.
So,
Just this year is kind of tricky with a big project going and trying to do a big.
so what we're saying, there's probably big money there, so why do we need to put lines and approve them now? If we can wait and see if we have money left. It makes you nervous about.
I'm not so nervous that I don't want them to be able to do it. I think it's just asking the court for support if we do get into something over there that we need more money than what's left in the line, and we find it and we finish it and we complete it out there. I don't want to see that project incomplete at all.
I agree.
I think the big concern, Mike, is that he's bringing is that these are on sale. If we go the wooden lines, if we go the others, we can wait. Is that right? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah.
And the price difference is, I can't do the math, is that what, $4,000?
Well, you could save a lot of money on concrete work already now, plus doing some of it, having to.
Yes. Which we're gonna discuss next, the EMS building, but yes, there's some savings.
Yeah, there'll be some money left out of the ARPA fund, but like I said, I can't speak on what will come up. When it comes to putting a sign that will do landscaping at the very end of the EMS building. Flagpole possibly,
Well-
There's still, tin horns gotta go in, I think that's, county's gonna have to take that.
And some of this, we're looking at August 1st completion date. Some of this stuff could be done even after the next budget cycle. Am I correct on that? After September 30th, the next budget cycle? Regarding a flagpole or whatever little cosmetic stuff we have to do? No,
There's any reason for that to be held up into next.
Okay.
budget cycle. Let's get this project completed off the books, because that's just another year. of
Okay.
having to push that fund.
okay. Okay.
Last thing we don't- It's being completed.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I agree, yeah, yeah. And as you know, the completion date is supposed to be August the 1st, so good. Okay, more discussion, commissioners?
What do we decide?
Go ahead, so we're still in discussion. Any comments?
I'm not for the wooden blinds. I just think they're gonna be a nightmare to keep clean. I mean, talking about 171 windows. Wood is gonna get dirty, louvered blinds are gonna get dirty. There's no way to keep them from it. At least if they're simple, if you have to, you can wipe them off. But that's just, I don't like fancy stuff.
Well, you can come up here and tell.
Yeah.
I'm not coming up there.
Well, I tell you what, I'll start things off.
Take the money out of our EMS reserve, right?
No, it's
No.
not gonna come out of ARPA funds. It will come out of the building improvement fund in the general fund.
Okay.
I was saying, I don't,
She was concerned with the EMS.
if we use all the ARPA, and we don't need like double the finishing projects out there. This line was specifically made to finish that. We
Okay.
don't.
We're using-
The construction, you get a lot of scrub.
And we're using when you said we're using 60, and
60 to finish the windows, which I think needs to be finished.
then another 23 here, that's 80, and 125.
Okay. Other questions, discussion? I'll start things off and we'll see how it goes. I'll make a motion that we approve the wood window blinds for 171 windows for $23,384.59. So there is my motion. Do I hear a second?
I'll second it.
We got a motion and a second. Any other discussion?
Well, we're going to a lot of money there to, we're trying to save something.
The 22nd.
Yeah. Yeah.
So people have a better idea.
Yeah, I believe that sale is June 2nd.
Yeah, June 2nd or 3rd is what you told me. Yeah.
22nd.
I'll find out today.
Okay, we got a motion. We got a motion for the wood blinds, natural wood blinds by me, seconded by Commissioner Wright. Any other discussion, gentlemen? Okay, all those in favor of approving the wood blinds, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Two opposed. Ayes have it. Now, Mr. Guy, you can stay up here for number 18, consider an act on new EMS building, and we got also Terrell Harris, Terrell. Can you hear us? We're finally to you. I told you we'd be to you about what, 10:30, and we got to you about 12, so.
No worries.
Thanks for hanging in there. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, if you want to go ahead and start and tell us what's going on about the concrete, I guess that's what we're going to discuss mainly, or what?
Yeah, what this is about is a concrete proposal and the cost on that and using Buster.
Taylor Construction.
Yeah, Taylor Construction. I think probably prudent to hand this off Daryl. And let him explain the cost.
Yeah, Terrell, go ahead, bud. I've been discussing this with Terrell over the last week, and go ahead and update all the commissioners court what's going on.
So what we've done is after the last meeting with the Commissioners Court, we were asked to revise the pricing to get closer to your budget. During that time, we met with Buster Taylor through you, Judge. He gave us some pricing that was significantly better than what we had. We lessened the amount of concrete by roughly 2,500 square feet. And brought the price down to about $109,000.
In Commissioner, in y'all's packet, there should be a breakdown, all the cost. And regarding a time frame, if we approve this, he could get to this within 2 weeks. And one other thing, Mr. Harris, I don't know if I told you this, we've been getting some, there's a job going on, some property here. They've been taking fill dirt out to the west side of the EMS building. So they're getting that built up even as we speak. And Commissioner Rod, I guess we're taking some today still out there, or they're going to your precinct?
I think, no, sir, I think that's all they need. They want to
Okay.
build it up 16 increments.
Okay.
That's what Buster recommended, and so I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, so they
But we
took,
have to take the crushing, yeah.
Okay. so they took what, 10, 20 loads out there?
14.
14 loads. 14 loads were delivered to Terrell on the west side of the EMS building.
Perfect.
Anyway. So commissioners, any questions you have on the concrete or anything, Terrell will be glad to answer them for you.
With you saying that, Judge, was that part of the concrete? Bringing the caliche out there, is that separate or
Well,
how does that work?
that was on us to
That
get
was on
the,
us
yeah.
from the very beginning.
yeah, to bring it, and commissioners have been doing some work on each side and west side.
Yeah, so we gotta lower the east side next to the impound yard. We gotta lower that in some places up to 6 inches. So that'll be a good topper to put on that other side because it's already crushed.
Well, the reason I took somebody out there, didn't have opportunity to help the other commissioners when they were done the pad and stuff, so when the judge called me about that, I was. No problem, they cost them anything.
Yeah.
The company took it out there at your expense and
Yeah.
I would stay out there and done.
Save the county money, that's what we like.
I have a question, I guess, for Terrell. Is this still the same proposed amount of concrete? They had concrete at the far end of the building, south end of the building, and then a complete walkway behind the building.
No, sir.
These guys.
So we've taken out a section on the west end. And then we've taken out 2 sections of the sidewalk.
Okay.
I believe we sent a drawing over to the judge, Commissioner Williams.
Yeah, so this.
It's a little bit
is-
different.
This has been removed. So it goes straight here now, and then this goes from here to here, and this is gone,
Okay, that's good.
okay?
That'll save them good debt.
Yeah. Okay.
And again, I think I stated, Mr. Taylor said he could probably get to it within 2 weeks. Was that correct? Mr. Harris, I think that's right.
Yes, sir. That was our understanding. The
Yeah.
conversation we had with Buster.
Got a good bit of work to do.
Yeah, I do know we have work to do, prep work. Can,
He just wanted, Buster told me at the coffee shop that he didn't want to wait till July to do it. 'Cause
Yeah.
It gets really hot, and so.
We agree with that.
Yeah. So commissioners, can y'all get the work done within 2 weeks or
I
so?
think we can get together and try to figure out a plan,
Okay,
because I don't think Summer wants us going to that September, so.
So the basic IDQ subcontracting with
Yes,
Us.
yes, it goes through the same bid, it's going through Terrell's bid, right? Terrell, that's what I'm doing, and then.
Yes, sir.
Through tips and all that, Terrell's taking care of that, and so that's why it's just a different subcontract.
anything else you need to explain about that, Terrell?
No, sir.
I
Okay.
make a motion that we approve the landscaping bid presented by, Terrell Owens.
We mean concrete bid?
The Basic IDQ.
You mean concrete bid? You said landscaping concrete. bid?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, concrete, yeah, but it's part of our landscaping.
Yeah,
It was all right.
true, yeah, concrete/landscape. Okay, a motion's been made by Commissioner Williams to approve the concrete/landscaping for the EMS building. Do I hear a second? I'll make a second on that. Any other discussion? We got a motion and a second for the concrete provider of Taylor Construction. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
It's not Taylor. Is it?
Well, it's basic IDIQ, but he's subcontractor, correct, Terrell, to do
Yeah.
Taylor Construction.
Yes, sir.
We're paying basic IDIQ.
Yeah, so it's not,
Yeah.
it's not too Taylor.
It's not Taylor.
Yeah. So is everything good on that was just voted on?
his motion, you were just seconding.
Yeah, his motion. I second it. And let's do this again, make sure we get it right. So all those in favor, basic IDIQ doing the concrete work that's been submitted to the court, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Terrell, and thank you, Guy.
Thank you, gentlemen.
And while we're still on that, has the stuff that you were addressing the other day out there, has it been corrected?
Yes, all of the interior doors have been rehung. They meet my approval as far as having the reveal is good, if they close solid and everything. The bay doors, the four, outside doors, the two middle ones, correct, the other four had to be lowered down. So that's been done, as I understand. That insulation is going to be replaced above the doors. But yeah, everything was down. Gene took care of it. Gene Bill, superintendent. And we've got a new electrical contractor that's going to finish up for the old one. This is all through basic IDIQ. So we're right now in the process of getting the electrical in. And all the cabinets have been installed, and the countertops are being made now, or on the way, or close to it.
Terrell, did you hear that question?
Yes, the countertops being fabricated right now here in San Angelo. They're solid surface. Probably be about a week and a half, 2 weeks. They'll be done. We'll haul them down there and install them.
And Terrell himself, y'all, was installing the kitchen cabinets. He had to work that day. I saw him.
You did a good job.
Well, thank you.
I didn't install them. I just helped them lay them out.
We will have a final walkthrough, correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. He's gonna do a final walkthrough, and then I'm gonna do a final walkthrough, and then I will come to the commissioner's court and y'all can do a final. walkthrough. So we're gonna have two ahead of y'all, make sure everything's.
Okay, commissioners, any other questions for Guy or Mr. Terrell on the EMS building? Not hearing the news, Guy, thank you. Terrell, thank you. Have a good week. And finally, we're getting down to what we like to do, the commissioner's request and reports, number 19. Commissioner Wright?
I made mention of, we had 14 loads of material hauled to the EMS. I had it in my report. I hauled 17 loads of base at County Road 314 and bladed in. We've been blading on County Roads 427, 411, 429. We also bladed County Road 412, and also I'm kind of out looking for a service vehicle right now to try to get it in the year. And also we've got problems with the trailer that we just Jim says that we just bought. Tires on it, there were 4 of them flat this morning, just off the rims and stuff. So I had my guy start taking them off so we can replace them. And we also need a rim so we can. I guess if you want me to do it, I started doing overhauling the tires and stuff.
Do they need to be replaced, or do they need to be just patched?
Replaced. 2 of them are completely off the rim.
That doesn't mean they're ruined, though. That means.
You don't see them, but they've got flat places in them, yes, they are bad. So. You look at them and see.
Well, we don't have the money,
I understand that.
because y'all borrowed money. from
That's
me.
the reason I understand that, that's the reason I'm bringing it up, you know, they wouldn't hold there. That's the problem.
That's weird. They were up the whole time we looked at it and up the
Over the
whole
weekend.
time.
Yeah, over the weekend, we had it this morning and starting repairing. One of them had a valve spin, it was, you know, there's one tire was new on the inside tires, those are the ones that are off the rim and flat, so.
I think we need to look at them.
Yeah.
Y'all go out and look at it. That's the reason I'm telling you, bring it up,
Okay,
so y'all go look at it.
okay, Commissioner.
That's all I have.
Okay, Commissioner Head?
Well, we worked on 332, rip it up, and filling in some potholes, shredded 222, we've been blading 312, 333, 307, several other roads. I got a letter from Brown Leonard, canceling our road material agreement. So I filed that with the rest of my stuff. And, other than that, we got good rain the other day. I had a lady call me about, the bridge on 1047. I called them, talked to them, and, they said that that bridge might be opened up by the middle of June. So that'll be nice.
Okay. All right, is that it?
I'm losing.
Commissioner Parton?
Still working on some washed out ditches around Brady there in that area. Spent a good bit of time. We've had a good many down trees, so we've got a lot of trees up off of the dirt roads. So as soon as we can get that, the washout fixed, we're gonna top those roads and then go to another spot.
Rains all the time in your precinct, doesn't it?
Rains, we're wet, whether it rains or not.
All right, Commissioner Williams?
So my rain has been real spotty out my way, so we're just I'm not gonna name all the county roads, but we're just jumping from one county road to the next over there, catching where we got moisture in it and blading it. The last ones we finished last week were the Swinging Bridge and those roads out that way and headed to Brownwood, which I call Austin and 531. Busy. We're staying real busy. That's it.
Okay, yes, everybody's busy. Two mentions here. First off, I talked to Monica, the Mills County Appraisal District. They're not sending out appraisals that you normally get if the property has not gone up 10% or down 10%. Now, of course, you'll still get your tax take, but they recommend everybody go online to look if you got more than one tax notice you're supposed to be getting. That's why you're not getting them. And they still hadn't hired anyone yet. The Mills County. They still hadn't hired anybody in the Mills County Appraisal District yet. They're interviewing right now. And the only other thing I have is I want to commend Commissioner Wright. I know several have done this too. These asphalt chips or shingles, which he took out to, what's that county road again, out of Mills? 505. People are very, very happy. I know that comes from TxDOT or the city of Goldthwaite. So I want to encourage everybody to continue to get whatever we can. That's a good, cheap way to fix our county roads. Don't you agree, Commissioner Wright? And the only thing else we're working on is budget. So we'll be busy with budget the next many weeks. So that's all I have.
Speaking of that,
Yes.
Judge, they won't know when we're gonna pass the speed limit and also when we're gonna strike that.
Yeah, there's been some kids doing donuts out that way, I've been told. So anyway, it's too fast now. Well, Alan Mills told me. Anyway, that's all I've got. So
I make a motion we adjourn.
motion's been made, a second, all those